New year, new setup, and new season of Cobra Kai. What more could you ask for? So Cobra Kai Season 3 just came out on Netflix, and if you know me, you know that I'm a huge fan of this show. This show has brought back exactly what I love about the original Karate Kid. Really entertaining karate action, while at the same time delivering a surprising amount of heart. Well, even though it can be plenty cheesy at times, it never fails to deliver authentic Japanese philosophy and really solid morals about life and balance and how to use karate. And if you want to know my thoughts on the first 2 seasons of Cobra Kai and the original Karate Kid, I've already got videos on that, so you can check those out after. So let's dive right into Season 3. Now, Season 3 picks up right after Season 2 left off. There was a big fight in the high school between Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do. A lot of people got injured, and Miguel got the worst of it when he got kicked off a balcony and smacked onto a railing. And we see at the beginning of this season that Miguel is in fact in a coma and in all likelihood won't wake up. But Season 2 also left Johnny in a really bad spot because he effectively gave up Cobra Kai to Kreese and right now has no real direction in his life. He doesn't know what to do. Cobra Kai didn't work out. It's a fundamentally flawed system that fosters aggression and dominance. But all that being said, the best thing that this season does is create consequences for our main characters. Pretty much everybody in the show has made mistakes and they need to deal with the consequences. So what are these consequences? Well, Robbie, after kicking Miguel off a balcony, just bolted. He's MIA. Nobody knows where he is. Because obviously there'd be some legal repercussions if a teenager kicked another teenager off of a balcony. Yeah, he's gone. But this fight at the school also affected Daniel in an interesting way because his car sales are down and he's had to pull all the karate influence and marketing from his business because of all the bad PR that's come his way. Because, you know, his student did hospitalize another karate student, and yeah, I wouldn't want to be in that position either. That's a tough one. But this fight affected more than just Daniel and Johnny and the kids at school. This fight really did affect the entire town. The town is harboring this anti-karate, anti-fighting sentiment, and while it's misplaced to be sure, you definitely can see how something like this incident would harbor that kind of resentment against karate. So these are all the things that this show sets up right away to help our characters grow and evolve and whatnot. And from here on out, I'm going to be getting into some pretty heavy spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, the short version is go see it. It's an amazing show. If you like the first 2 seasons, definitely give this a watch. It continues everything you liked, and it also positions characters in very interesting alliances going further. So for those of you that are still here, let's get into some spoiler territory. So it's about darn time Daniel and Johnny learned to get along. I can't tell you how happy I am to see these 2 guys finally getting along and finally forming an alliance against Kreese, because we all know that Kreese was really the bad guy in the original movies, right? It wasn't Daniel, it wasn't Johnny. Those kids were just 2 very flawed, emotional students, and it really was their teachers where we see the fundamental difference. Miyagi, the wise, traditional Japanese mentor, and Kreese, the aggressive, unstable Vietnam War vet that believes a war is coming involving teenagers. You start to see why Kreese was always the bad guy, and this season finally positions Kreese as the main threat. And let me tell you, it was quite the journey this season to see Daniel and Johnny come together at the end. These 2 guys just don't get along, and it's because, like Elizabeth Shue said this season, that maybe they don't like each other because they find too much of themselves in each other. And that is 100% accurate. Both of these guys are hot-headed, emotional, vengeful people at heart. But it was really cool to see them bond a little bit while they were looking for Robbie, even though that wasn't the thing that brought them together. It was really Elizabeth Shue towards the end of the season. But you do see them interact with each other a lot more this season, and you can start to see the walls that both of them have built up start to come down, you know, brick by brick. Oh, and I should probably mention that Johnny starts up his own school this season called Fang Karate. Stupid name, but pretty cool idea. And Eagle Fang consists of Miguel primarily, you know, after he got out of his coma and went through his full recovery, and he's back on his feet, but he's still not performing at 100%. And I'm so glad that they did not just make him 100% battle ready right after his recovery. He still struggles with his technique, especially in the kicking, which makes sense because he was paralyzed for like half of the season. But it would have been so easy to make him fully healed, to throw him into a tournament at the end of the season and show everybody that Miguel is back, baby. But they didn't do it that way, and I like it. I think they're saving that tournament for the next season, give him a little bit more time to recover, and then he'll be battle ready. But as for how it is right now, I think it's a little too soon to throw him into a tournament. But the rest of Eagle Fang is made up of the Cobra Kai students that think Kreese is being a little too extreme and bringing in the bullies as part of the team, and it's not what they wanted. So they defect over to Eagle Fang, including Hawk, which honestly surprised me. I thought Hawk was going to be Cobra Kai for life. I thought he was going to be the next Johnny Lawrence. But I do like how they showed Kreese's leadership being so different from Johnny, and the effect that it does have on the students. So a lot of students do defect over to Eagle Fang, and they're doing their karate classes in the park, and it's pretty small. But it's actually the relationship between Miguel and Sam that helps to bring these two dojos together. Now that Miguel's back on his feet and Robbie's still missing, they start to, pick up where they left off. They start to have a bit more romance, a bit of flirting, and it's through the relationship when they start realizing that Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do aren't that different, and that Cobra Kai really is the enemy. So they start planning an alliance, getting the two factions together, to the point where Daniel and Johnny really have no say in the matter, and that's where Elizabeth Shue comes in as Ellie, and it was so nice to see her again as Ellie. We've seen Elizabeth Shue recently in like The Boys and some other stuff, but seeing her as Ellie, it was just like a breath of fresh air. It was really good to have her back. And she brought her own sense of wisdom. Like I said before, she's the one that really forced Johnny and Daniel to get together and see themselves in each other. And it was that magic touch of bringing back Ellie so that the two of them could reconcile their past. Because this whole feud was always about Ellie. Their whole feud started because Johnny couldn't get over the breakup and Daniel started dating her a little too soon. So to have her back and to have her be not a love interest for anybody and just this neutral party, which I was so glad they did, because Daniel's married and Johnny clearly has a thing with Miguel's mom, and I was really worried they were gonna cram in another BS love triangle like they did with Miguel, Sam, and Robbie. But they didn't. They just made her a neutral party that helped put their whole feud to bed, and I was really happy. But let's talk about that love triangle, because this is the one thing in all of Cobra Kai that it's just not as good as the rest of it. The rest of this show is so smart and clever in how it marries 80s cheese with realistic writing and character development that it's so irritating when they go back to this teenage love triangle BS. And I was hoping that the fight at the school would end all of that and everyone would kind of just go their separate ways, but no. You have Robbie coming back at exactly the worst time, and he sees Miguel and Sam together being all cute, and he flips out and goes to Kreese and joins Cobra Kai. And you know what? I used to like Robbie. I thought he was such an interesting character, that they had the son of Johnny Lawrence training with Daniel LaRusso, and now he's kind of just this wild card. Nobody really knows what he's doing. I hope they have some plan for him in the next season, because this season, he didn't really do a whole lot. Whenever they cut to him, it felt like filler, and it didn't really matter, because he wasn't really important this season. And when he was relevant, he was bringing back this whole love triangle thing. So that's one thing that I do hope they fix next season, because Robbie needs some work, guys. What'd you do to him? But as for what I did love this season, Daniel goes to Japan to try to reconcile this whole dealership problem. And while he's over there, he figures, I'll just hop on over to Okinawa. It's not that far out of the way. Besides, I need to clear my head and get in touch with the Miyagi-Do roots. And while he's over there, he runs into Kumiko and Chosen, from Karate Kid Part 2. And it was really cool to see both of these characters again. Kumiko, once again, probably the best girlfriend Daniel has ever had. I was really disappointed when they dropped her from the third movie. I thought that her and Daniel really had a lot going for each other. But they get to catch up, and it's sweet and it's romantic, and he gets a bit more Miyagi wisdom thrown his way. But then he also runs into Chosen, the guy that challenged Daniel to a fight to the death in Karate Kid 2. Yeah, that guy, he's changed. He's changed a lot. He's wisened up over the years. He's learned a lot more about Miyagi-Do karate and the history and everything. And what I realized from watching him and Daniel interact is that this show consistently takes characters from the original series of movies that may have been a bit one note or served one specific purpose, and develops their character in a way that's consistent with those movies and develops them beyond the villain or the hero or whatever archetype the story needed them to be. These are three-dimensional, well-rounded characters, and I was so happy to see that even though this season was produced by Netflix and YouTube Red did the first two, the creators and writers still haven't lost that touch. Although there is one character that is just flat out irredeemable, and you know who he is. It's Kreese. Let's talk about Kreese in this season. He 100% believes that this war is coming and that it's here and that he's fighting for the soul of the valley. And as fun as it is to see Kreese being as much of a jerk in this season as he was previously, this season does do a bit more to explore his backstory. We get these flashbacks of a young Kreese in Vietnam learning the hard lessons that shaped his Cobra Kai mantra. And it is fascinating because it adds so much more context to see how a person as messed up and just evil as Kreese could have been created. And these flashbacks do a really good job for offering context to his character and to see how he may have gotten these very toxic ideas without trying to redeem him or making us feel too much sympathy for him, because again, Kreese is the bad guy. So yeah, that about wraps up Cobra Kai Season 3. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I enjoyed it more than the past two seasons. I'd say it's about on par with Season 2. I don't think it's as good as Season 1. But this show continues to bring new context and new light into the characters of the Karate Kid universe, and always delivers on a really sweet karate fight scene in every episode. So now I leave it to you guys. What do you think of Cobra Kai Season 3? And if you like this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more content, and hit the notification bell to be notified every time I upload a video. And as always, I'm Colby. This is my nerdy talk, and I'll see you in the next video.